All right. Looks like we are, in fact, live. Been having some challenges here with my computer. Good morning to you. Good morning, everyone. As you're hopping in the room, I would love for you to do me a favor and go ahead and type hello in the chat. Let me know that you are, in fact, hearing me and seeing uh, my screen. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to join me here for today's masterclass, how to attract clients with video, even if you hate being on camera. What is good? What is good? Hop in the room, type in the chat. Let me know you are, in fact, seeing and hearing me. I am so very excited to be here with you today. Looking forward to sharing some valuable information with you. This session, by the way, is being recorded. If you're tuning in live, please drop me a hello in a chat. Tell me where you're tuning in from. I love seeing who's joining us and where you are actually joining us from. So I'll give it a couple more seconds here and then we'll jump right in. So I will go ahead and get us started. So, look, if you're here, right? I want to make sure you're in the right place. If you're saying, Stephen, video feels very overwhelming and somewhat awkward to me, you're in the right place. If your online presence doesn't reflect your expertise, I want you to know you're in the right place. And if you know your stuff, if you're an expert at what you do, but you are not feeling seen, you don't feel like people are actually seeing the value you bring online, you are in the right place. Uh, Let me know uh, if that relates to who you are and where you're. So I'm having a little bit of a challenge, and I'll just pause right here. I'm seeing that people are commenting in natively in LinkedIn, but I'm not seeing those comments pop up in inside my Riverside. So hello to Clay and Corey and Annette joining us live. It's great to have you here. I'll be switching screens. I'm looking at three different screens right now. So rock with me. Appreciate you dropping comments in the chat. Let me know where you tune in from. I want to see, I see Clay saying hello from Oklahoma. Uh, Let me know, drop in the chat, tell me where you're from, say hello as I'm talking through, and I'll pivot back and forth between LinkedIn and Riverside to make sure I'm engaging with you throughout the conversation. But again, you're in the right place if video feels overwhelming for you, if it's somewhat awkward, your online presence doesn't reflect uh, your true expertise, the quality of what you bring to the table, and maybe you don't feel visible right now. Right, you're in the right place. I want to make sure you know that. Now, my promise to you today is that I'm going to cover a few things in our session. Uh, if you have a couple questions like what you're seeing on the screen right now, right? How do I show up confidently on video? How do I create consistent, compelling videos? And what type of videos are actually connecting with folks right now? I'm going to make sure that I walk through each of these things right up front. We're not going to waste much time getting into that. But before I get going, I start all my presentations off from the very same place. And so I want to let you know who I am before I let you know what I do. So uh, if you've rocked with me in presentations in the past, you know I'm a proud husband and I aspire to be the best dad ever to two amazing crumb snatchers who are now 15 and 11. And some of you who have been rocking with me from my podcast days, you've said, Stephen, it's time to upgrade the label. Can't call them crumb snatchers no more. I always will. They'll forever be my my crumb snatchers. I'm originally from Jamaica. I came of age here in the US, been here for 30 plus years, and proud husband to Kristen, my beautiful wife. So uh, that's a little bit about who I am. What I do, I am a founder of Blue Oak Marketing. I'm a brand visibility expert. I work with entrepreneurs, executives, as well as industry experts, and I help you with your brand messaging as well as your marketing and content. And specifically with content, my superpower is video. I am a former marketing executive. I worked previously, prior to starting Blue Oak Marketing, worked with the world's largest cybersecurity training firm in the Science Institute, and I've created so much different programs. I am the founder and host of the I Am Black Success podcast, and I've created numerous different corporate properties in my short career of 15 to 20 years. So let's get into it. I'll take a quick peek over here. I see Micah Hoffman joining us from Maryland. Corey's in Dallas, Texas. Annette's in Toronto. T Dot in the house. Appreciate that. So look, visibility is important right now, and I know I've had frequent conversations with people who say, Stephen, it's not about me; it's about the business that I'm with or the business that I'm building, and there's no value to me being visible. Almost feels like it's you being vain in some shape or form, but that isn't the case, right? Visibility isn't just nice to have anymore. It's what is today driving demand, driving trust, driving your ability to price yourself accordingly, whether you're an employee or an employer, right? And running your own business. And there's a study done by a marketing research firm here in the DC metro area called Hinge Research Institute. They actually did a study of over 150 uh, top class experts, as well as they did research on over 1,000 different buyers. They found out that 80% of decision makers are researching you online before they do anything with you, before they even reach out to you. And it also showed in that research that the person who has done the work to be visible, to build that brand visibility, is actually commanding up to 13 times more in their fees, in their payment, in their value over the person who doesn't have that visibility, right? So it's tremendous, and we could go on and on about this study. It's something I really do value quite a bit because I believe in it. And finally, somebody put the numbers behind it. But I just want to make sure we start off from a place of clarity around the value of video. So I'm going to get right into the FAQs of it all. Right, we're going to share value through actual questions today. And so the first question, I actually want to go through five. So rock with me. We're going to go through five questions. The first of which is, Stephen, why is video the most effective trust building content tool right now? We're in 2025. Some people might be watching this at a later point in time. So, look, first thing to take note of is that just about every main platform today, social platform today, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and now LinkedIn, all prioritize video content above every other content format, right? Uh, LinkedIn specifically, about 2 years ago now, started beta testing a video tab in the mobile app. And today, that's become the primary driver of content on LinkedIn. If you open your LinkedIn app right now on your mobile device, the second tab from the bottom is your video tab, and that is where LinkedIn is trying to get you to post more content. Right? They don't have enough supply. They actually want more content. Unlike Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, have to filter through content. Just isn't enough people creating video in LinkedIn. like those other platforms. And so that's a great opportunity for you if you recognize that there is opportunity for you to be seen uh, with your expertise inside of LinkedIn. So, Stephen, video feels overwhelming. I hate being on camera, right? Our second question here is going to address that. How can I show up confidently, even if, even if I'm not natural at this? So there's an exercise that I've walked so many different clients and friends and colleagues through, and it's this. And do me a favor, drop some ones in the chat if this is you. If you're like Steven, video feels awkward, right? I hate seeing myself on camera, hearing myself. If that's you, drop me a comment right now. Let me know. Drop some ones in the chat. I see Lauren Ashy here. I see Sherry Voss here. Love it. So I'm on a delay. So I'm going to see some of what is happening here in delay. But look, I want you to just jot this down 30 times one, 30 times one. For the next 30 days, I want you to take out your cell phone, right? And I want you to uh, go ahead and just turn your video on selfie mode and hit record. And for 1 minute, I just want you to start talking, right? Talk through an idea. Record yourself on video. And it's your choice what you do when you stop the recording. You don't have to share it with anyone. In fact, you could delete it if you want. I recommend you watch the video back. What's going to happen over time is that probably for the first week, you're going to really not be happy with what you record. And that's totally fine. But as you go through the second week and the third week, you're going to begin to develop a muscle for recording. You're going to get a little bit more comfortable with the awkwardness of your voice. I still find my voice annoying to me when I hear it back. Luckily for me, 500,000 people have found my voice okay to listen to on my podcast and other platforms, but I've gotten used to it. And so, what I want you to do is for the next 30 days, go ahead and start recording yourself for just a minute. And over time, as you're thinking of different things throughout the day that would be of value to share, take out your phone, hit record. What you're going to find is the third or fourth week, you're going to start watching some of this content. You're going to be like, you know what? This video isn't five bad, right? I could probably share this with somebody and and they would take value from that, right? So 30 times one, 30 times one, go ahead and start sharing that content when you feel comfortable. Now, the other thing I want you to do is to really know, once you get to that place where you're comfortable, uh, I want you to begin. And I had the live stream up on another screen here to look at your chat, but I'm looking at myself in like 2 minutes ago. It's driving me mad. So look, here are some tips to show up confidently on video. The first thing you need to be able to do is to plan ahead. Really give thought to what it is that you're going to record, and we'll talk about that here in the next slide. Uh, but give thought to what you want to record. Leverage Chat GPT. Chat GPT can be your friend to help you if you need to stretch a thought, or if you need to shrink it, if you need to condense copy, you wrote something out, and maybe for video, you need it to be much shorter. That's where I would maybe drop copy into Chat GPT and say, hey, I need this to be a 90-second script. Help me make this more succinct. So you can help it to draft. You can also have it help you to time your script. And then once you have a script that you've now written, you've drafted, and it looks fine, You cannot take that and immediately go to record, right? What you should do is now read that out loud. And I recommend you read that out loud three, five, 7 times until it feels comfortable. What you're going to find is what you write and what you speak out doesn't always flow in the same way. So when you're reading it out loud, there are going to be tongue twisters in things that you wrote that just isn't flowing off your tongue quite as naturally as it flows off the page, right? When reading it. So practice reading the script, get comfortable with it. That even if you're not reading word for word, you're comfortable. You know kind of where your thought, where you want to go with a particular thought, and then record. Now, if recording for you is challenging, just looking at a camera. Now, I have a camera right here, but I'm looking at 10 different things, but I'm comfortable. I've done this for near 10 years now. I can look at a camera and feel quite comfortable recording. If that's not natural to you, give thought to maybe recording in a tool like a Riverside or StreamYard, where you can have somebody in the studio with you and you could be looking at them, but it's recording you locally. So you can, after the fact, you can take that, extract just you from that recording and edit that. And it feels a bit more natural, right? When you're talking to somebody else versus talking to a camera. Even for me, that is true. So give thought to that. That's 4 tips for you to work through uh, getting a little bit more comfortable and not feeling so awkward on the camera. Drop some ones in the chat. Let me know if that actually works for you. Uh, Sherry says, I don't feel uncomfortable. I just don't think to do it. Need this push. Got it. Uh, Lauren says, we write our thoughts down all the time instead of speaking them out loud. Using voice to text could be another way to get more comfortable hearing ourselves. Yes, absolutely. Ramon Ray, thank you for popping in, my brother. Appreciate you being here. So, and it says the ick factor. So let's keep it moving. We're through two big concerns of yours, right? So the next thing, third question here, relates to when you don't know what to say. And so, how do you go about creating compelling videos that are actually going to attract the right type of person, your ideal client? And an ideal client could be a future employer, it could be a future customer, it could be a partner. Uh, Whoever that is, you want to make sure that you are creating compelling content and you want to do it consistently. Now, my approach to this is, and I'm going to walk you through a 3-step process to do so. Okay. The first thing you want to do is choose a topic. And when you choose a topic, you want to choose a topic that you want to be seen and thought of whenever that topic comes up. So, example for me, I want when somebody's thinking of personal branding or visibility or marketing, I want them to think of Stephen A. Hart. What is that topic for you? Drop that in the chat. Whatever your core topic is that you want to be seen and known for, you want to make note of that. And what I often do with my clients is we think of subtopics of that topic. So, case in point, one subtopic could be personal branding. Another could be video. Another could be messaging. Another could be email marketing, right? Whatever the 4 subtopics are, that if you're speaking about those 4 topics enough, that main topic is who you're everyone that you want to see you, they're going to be thinking about you when they think of that topic. And this proves true for the employer and the client, but it's also adds tremendous value for you if you're looking for other income streams. Let's say you want to actually be a speaker, you want to, get paid, right? To consult or to speak on a particular topic. If an event planner is constantly seeing you in their feed speaking to that topic, guess who they're going to call first? when there's an opportunity to jump on their stage and to call you, right? So think of the topic, and for each of your topics or your subtopics, I want you to research 12 to 15 questions that your ideal client is needing an answer to. There's a void there, there's a gap there. They're not getting the answers to that question that you can speak to, that you can add your unique angle to, your perspective, your view, your opinion. Uh, and so make note of 12 to 15 questions, and again, leverage GPT, do the research, look at what Google has coming up on key terms, right? If you start typing um, how to introduce myself, uh, and pause, right? Google's going to finish that. YouTube's going to finish that statement. Whatever comes up to finish that statement, those are high value key terms. That those are terms that people are searching for at a higher quantity level, right? And so you want to take note of what are those things that are keeping your ideal person up at night. What are you looking for answers to? And that's where you want to kind of make note of that. And guess what? This is what you're going to create content around, right? You want to then start to script, record, and publish content to those questions on a consistent cadence. It could be you doing one video each week, right? Week one, you're tackling subtopic one, week two, subtopic two, week three, week four, etc. And that is the easiest way for you to, one, know exactly what you're going to say, two, be able to show up consistently over a long period of time. Does that make sense? Let me hop back here and see if I have any more questions. All right. Feel free to drop questions in the chat if you guys have any questions while we're talking. And go ahead and tap that like button as much as you want, right? That's helping other people to see us in the feed and jump in. And if you're just jumping in with us, this is recorded. You'll be able to come back here if you want to just save the URL on LinkedIn. You'll be able to watch a replay of this at whatever point you have some time. And so I'm going to keep it moving. We're going to go through 5 questions. We're through 3 of them so far, right? So the fourth question is, Stephen, what type of videos are working right now? What type of videos are working right now in 2025? And the answer to that is simple. It's short form videos, right? Short form videos. Now, let me pause right there and say this. Long form videos. I'm doing a long form video right now, and you're showing up here and you're rocking with me 23 minutes in. I actually watched this weekend. I don't know how many people are aware of the name Alex Hormozy, but Alex Hormozy hosted a 9-hour live stream this weekend on YouTube, a book launch, of which he ended up selling over 3 million books in a 9-hour span, beating out like Harry Potter, Goblet of Fire, right? Actually had Guinness World Book, Guinness Records people present him the Guinness record on a live stream this weekend. So live streams work. But that said, day to day, what is working for you consistently is to be able to be visible, to be able to have the algorithm of each of these social platforms show your content to your ideal person. It's going to be short form video. I like to do landscape videos and vertical videos. Vertical videos are definitely going to work, I think, better for you in most cases because the algorithm wants that vertical video, because a lot of people are looking at it on their phone and they're swiping, right? And that vertical video is designed for just that. So, what type of content ideas, or what type of content's working right now? Uh, these are just a few of the different types of content that are working, that hopefully spark some ideas for how you could probably step into answering your questions or approaching answers to the questions that you just made note of. And so you could look at interviews. Interviews could be you talking to one other person. Interviews could also be you talking to three other people. Panel style interviews actually do tremendously well. While at Sands, I ran a show called Wait Just an Infosec. Some of you in the chat who are with Sands, you know about Wait Just an Infosec, and I often saw where panel style chats would outperform uh, interview between two people quite consistently. And now we're seeing some of the best podcasters in the world, people like Steve Bartlett with Diary of a CEO, is beginning to do more and more panel style conversations. So panel style interviews do really well, and stories do tremendously well. Succinct stories that add value, share wisdom, give somebody guidance, do tremendously well. Sharing customer stories, sharing quick tips, sharing how-to videos are also great ideas for you. Now, I've actually done, and I'm going to talk about this here in a second. Like uh, back at the beginning of this year in January, LinkedIn was reaching out to me over several weeks. I want to say from the end of last year through the beginning of this year, saying, Stephen, we would love for you to do hot takes on the news items that are popping up on the homepage. So if you go on the homepage of your LinkedIn news feed, look off to the right, there are those news items. When you tap on any of those news items, you always have sort of a perspective on different users. Some people will repost with their thoughts, but LinkedIn wanted to see more videos, video hot takes on those news items. And so they started amplifying content that was done in that format. And I did that several times, and several of those posts garnered hundreds of thousands of views. I want to tell you, in January, February, I probably had something like six or 700,000 views, majority of that off of LinkedIn news takes. Now, look, I stopped doing them. Why? Because it wasn't aligned with my goals. It wasn't aligned with the people I am hoping to connect with, my ideal customers. It was great for reach, but who was I reaching? And was that helping or potentially hurting my brand? And so these are things that when you're looking at what types of video content to do, you need to really give thought to, is this aligned with where I'm trying to move my platform, move my brand? So let's talk through some best practices for specifically for short video. Uh, the the goal, you could do 30 seconds, you could do 60 seconds, you could do 2 minutes. I think 90 seconds is a sweet spot, right? It allows you to get just about enough content out there and tease out an idea and call somebody to take a particular action and get off. What you want to make sure you're doing with short video is that you open with a very strong hook. Right? The first 5 to 7 seconds should not be, "Hi, I'm Steven. I work for Blu Oak like somebody is already swiping, right? You need a thought-provoking hook, right? Uh, is your Excel, problems keeping you up at night, right? Like you need to strike the pain point of your ideal customer and let them know in this video you're going to give them the solution to. You're going to provide them value that helps them with that problem. Captioning is very important with short videos. You're going to see it everywhere. And what you want to make sure you do is on the left side here, you'll see the bottom right uh, image. You'll see a caption is about a third of the way up. And the reason you want to have that there is that, one, you don't want it to cut caption, in the middle of your face while talking. But you also don't want it too low where it's going to end up in that copy for the person's name or brand and caption at the bottom, right? So you want your caption about a third of the way up, and you want to alternate the graphics, text overlays, B-rolls to keep things interesting, right? Unfortunately, our attention span has gotten really bad, and so if that video is not interesting, it won't even hang around for 90 seconds, right? So you need to be able to go through some of that there. Uh, just looking back at the chat real quick. All right. So the last question that I want to tackle for you, and if you're enjoying this, if you found value in this, let me know. Drop some ones in the chat. Let me know, Stephen. This was valuable. Uh, the the last question here that I want to tackle is one that answers the this looks great, Stephen, but I don't know how to properly record. I don't know how to edit. I don't have the time to insert whatever thing there. And I get that quite often. I speak with a lot of people who uh, come to me and say, I just am not technically inclined. I don't know that I can effectively edit, record, or even publish my content consistently. If that's you, let me know in the chat. But who can help me with the recording and editing piece? And the answer is I can. So at Blue Oak, we actually work quite a lot with entrepreneurs, um, with different leaders, and people in different industries. I work with coaches. I work with people in insurance sector. I work with universities. Um, and so what we do, we help you to one, clarify your message and tune your visual brand, right? We help you to think through, we've talked through some of this, but we'll help you create the right type of content that establishes you as a thought leader and builds that trust and credibility with the ideal client that you hope to serve. And we help you position yourself online as that go-to expert in your industry or niche. And by doing all those things right and consistently, we're going to help you increase your following, grow your business, and increase the partnerships that you have in your space. And so how do I do that? Well, one of the things I've actually found reversed into this is that all too often when we look on our own personal brand, and I heard somebody that scheduled an appointment with me 2 days ago, and I asked them in an email. I said, how's your personal brand? And they say, Stephen, I don't know if I have a personal brand. Well, answer is you have a personal brand. We all have a personal brand. The problem is you might not be tending to your personal brand, but you absolutely have one. And so if right now, if you Google your name, and I do this several times a week, I Google somebody's name. And more often than not, when I Google their name, LinkedIn, the LinkedIn profile, your LinkedIn profile, is going to come up on that first page of Google search results. More times than not, it's coming up top one, two, three, four, five, ahead of your own website. And look, if you don't establish an optimized LinkedIn profile and have a brand presence there that establishes that good first impression, you've already lost that person, right? So I actually created what I'm calling a first impressions introductory video. It's you introducing yourself on video, and it allows you to anchor that to your LinkedIn featured section. If you have a website, you can place that in your about page. If you are somebody that schedules calls, maybe you do discovery calls like I do discovery calls, you can actually have that in your calendar confirmation. You can have that in your email signature. You could have that pinned to your Instagram and your TikTok and your, other social platforms. And so a simple, clean, polished 2-minute video is something that does a lot of good for you in 2025, where somebody wants to maybe put you on a stage. I know they have the opportunity to see how you operate, how you communicate on video. It allows somebody to meet you right before they actually meet you and talk to you on Zoom or in person. And so it actually helps to build that know, like, and trust before you even have to step into that conversation and do that, right? So I help people with a first impressions intro video. And to complement that, I just touched on it. I also help people with optimizing their LinkedIn profile and making sure that all the copy on your profile is optimized and all the images are properly branded. Put them together. We actually offer that as part of a starter brand visibility package. And right now, we're running an August promotion where instead of you paying for each of these services individually for $1,200, we're actually knocking $300 off. And so you could get both of those for under $900, right? That's a tremendous value. Giving thought to making sure that your brand really stands out on LinkedIn and elsewhere via the video. And then beyond that, if you're somebody that says, hey, I really want to continue doing that, not just for an intro video, but I actually want to create content on a monthly basis, we actually have packages that start at $1,000 where we record you once a month for 90 minutes and we take care of everything else. And so those are the ways that I actually spend quite a bit of my time. And look, I guarantee that if you're not happy with a LinkedIn profile or the video, and if you don't feel like you could proudly send that to any decision maker, I'll either make it right or I'll refund you your money. Right. So I wanted to play one of my clients right now is an insurance broker, a licensed insurance broker, Edwin Rodriguez. I'm going to play something that he shared on video after one of our recent recordings. Listen to this. So I so value Edwin, and if you're watching this at some point, I appreciate you, brother. So look, I want you to imagine. I know we're about 10:38. I wanted to get this through and give you 15 minutes in case this is a lunch break for you. Uh, but look, I want you to imagine this, right? You are now seen as the go-to expert in your space. You're no longer chasing leads. You can now show up confidently on video. Your calendar starts to fill up, and the most important piece, right? The thing I love about video, it lives out there, right? You put it out there once, and weeks, months, years later, it's still providing value for you. So your content, right, recorded weeks and months later, is still opening doors for you, right? I want you to imagine that. And so, if you have found value in today, let me know in the chat. I appreciate you giving me some time. Feel free to stick around if you have any questions. But if you would like to have a discussion about one of the services I just shared, um, feel free to book a call. You can hop over to weareblueoak.com, tap on the book a call, and schedule a call with me. If you have your cell phone out, you can scan that QR code. It's just going to open my calendar up. You can actually schedule time with me there as well. So I am open to any questions that you might have. Drop questions in the chat and let me know how I can best help you. I can't wait until the next episode. Oh, I'm sorry, the video didn't play. I thought that could potentially happen. It is, I'll actually, I tell you what, Corey, Lauren, Sherry, Annette, Mike, I know you're here. I'm gonna go ahead and drop you the link to that video, uh, so you can watch that video at a different time. Sorry, it didn't play, and I wasn't seeing the comments here until now. So let me know if you have any other questions. Of course, there's a lag in the feed, but if you have any questions, I'm gonna hang here for another couple of minutes. Otherwise, I am so grateful to you for rocking with me. Thank you for sharing some time. Hit forward, share this video with anyone you think it may serve, and have a great one. Appreciate you.